Am I breaking through? Do you feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? Do you feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? Do you feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? 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 Just another product
What is this? Where am I right now? Where am I? I actually don't know where I'm at. Difficulties. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Hey. Hey. Verge, you're still muted. You're still muted. Your microphone. Your actual microphone. There you are.
No, it's not.
There it is.
No,
Oh my god, and we got a raid? No, I hear you now.
Unbelievable.
Taylor, thank you for the raid. Let's go. Hey, look, we got a bot that followed. We got a bot.
We got a bot?
We got a bot that followed. Haas, thank you for the follow. Please don't target us. Somebody ban him.
Hey, Haas, you the freaking man, bro.
You the man.
freaking killing it on
You're,
Twitch,
you're
bro,
killing
by
it.
the way.
And you're
You
following.
are the man.
How many people have you
I love
followed at this point?
Dude,
Haas?
our freaking, that's it. Can we just end the cast?
Yeah,
now?
we can just
He's
end it.
here.
We're
Like,
done.
just end it.
We have
Sorry-
made
sorry,
it.
Matt.
We've made it.
Like, we're
We've
done.
made it.
We're done. We're done.
Taylor, thank you so much for the raid. Yes, it is the it's the return. It is the big
Yeah.
return. It has been a minute. We took a little hiatus. Definitely some things that we wanted to change and work on, so we're back. Feel like we've kind of gotten to that point. And we're excited. Jay, thank you for the follow, brother. Excited. I'm glad all you guys are here. I'm glad to be here again next to this beautiful specimen of a man here sitting next to me here. So no, it feels good to be back. It really does. I appreciate you guys you know, being patient and waiting months and months on end for us to get back to the podcast. We've got a few things lined up tonight. We've got CDL. We want to talk about all things CDL. Obviously, we're only going to touch a little bit on it because obviously it's been going on for a while now with roster mania and everything, and you guys have probably already heard all the news and everything, but we're going to kind of give our thoughts, and then we're going to move into our main subject for the night. And then what we'll do at the end is we'll answer all the questions that we had, you know, everybody that replied to the tweet with, we'll answer all those questions and we'll get in. But first, we're, you know, we look, Verge, what have you been up to, brother? What have you been doing with your life?
I mean, what? My thing. Enjoying the past couple of months. It has been, because what's it been? Like 2 months at least?
It's been a couple months. Yeah, at least.
Yeah, not just getting through summer, bro. Like, that's it. Just getting through summer. There's nothing really too crazy. A lot of work. Work's been crazy. Get a vacation here at the end of this month, finally. Work from home got pushed back, extended another month right now, to be. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And other than that, nothing, dude. Honestly, nothing really too much. Enjoying some time with the family.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy, man. Doing several hikes. I've been on several hikes. Yeah, the most recent one I got lost. They changed the trail a little bit and the trail markers. So for those of you that are new here, I am colorblind to some degree with shades. So they thought it would be cute to sit there and put like a light red on the trees where the browns and the reds mix, and yeah, that's one of my toughest ones to like figure out between. So yeah, it was great. I was like, where am I right now? What's going on? I'm like, sweet, this is awesome.
Yes, yes. If you guys are first time here, the first logo that Verge made for the Mashup podcast that you see in front of you was not blue, it was green. And I was trying to figure out what he was doing, and then I remembered that, you know, he's got some handicaps, and that's fine. We love him.
It happens. All of us do.
It happens.
You know,
No,
I mean,
it definitely does.
Like, I just chalk it up to life in general. Like,
Yes.
colorblind.
100%.
bad at video games. Just it's just all those things, together. Like it's just like boom, it's okay. I'm accepting of it. I've accepted this. I've gone through to therapy so many times for things like this, and we finally broke through some of these barriers. And it's just accepting. I know I'm not going to be able to see colors in certain, the way you would see certain colors. It's okay. It's fine.
And I've never been tested. There's a good chance that some of these colors that I'm looking at aren't correct. But
True.
I'm pretty sure. I just.
All I know is anything with graphic design or anything like that. Yeah, not gonna hire this guy right here. Just saying.
I mean, you never know. Maybe you show them something that they didn't know they wanted originally. Who knows?
Hey, groundbreaking concepts.
Groundbreaking. Yeah, I really, I obviously, I've talked about it on, my own personal stream and stuff, but, yeah, I had a busy summer. I really did. Finally going back to COD events, which was incredible. Got to meet a lot of really, really incredible people. Champs in LA was awesome. Don't think I'd ever go back to LA, but it was a good time.
Why wouldn't you go back to LA?
Uber's ridiculous out there. It's stupid, actually.
On the sense of
I will
money that you spend for it.
Yes,
I
think
quality of service.
No, quality of service is fine. We never had an issue with any of our drivers. But I think collectively we probably spent more on the Ubers that we took to and from the venue than we did on anything else the entire 5 days we were out there. And I'm talking Airbnb included. I think the amount of money that we spent on Ubers was probably I would say twice as much as I spent on tickets and the fucking Airbnb. I think on average it was $60 for an Uber.
That's just crazy.
And we took a lot of Ubers. It is what it is. Still had a blast. Still had an absolute blast. Met a lot of incredible people. Met some big name people that I've been supporters of for a long time. Had a good time. Had a really good time. So it was fun. I had a fun summer. Spent a lot of time, obviously, with the girlfriend. And the dogs and everything. So it's been a good few months. It really has.
You've had a couple of trips. You've been out to California, minus the COD event. You were out to California a couple times and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we went out to California, stayed at a freaking awesome Airbnb out there. It was literally this super nice house out in California in wine country. It was on a vineyard, and it was just, man, I would go back there again. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. But yeah,
good wines out there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Wine tasting, everything was absolutely incredible out there. Loved every second of it. There was a pool. Everybody else wanted to go wine tasting and stuff, so we were out there for her sister's husband's birthday, so her brother-in-law. And everybody else wanted to go do all these things, and I'm like, bro, just give me some beer and get me in that pool, and I'm golden. I'm golden. I spent most of my trip in the pool because I'm easy going.
I mean, sometimes it's just the simple things.
Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, so nothing super eventful. Streams have been going good. Your streams have been going good. You've done some other charity work and stuff like that, which is awesome.
Yeah, we just had a charity event for some Hurricane Ida relief. Me and the subpar wife, Maddie, who's in chat right now. She carried, so it was good. But no, we've been doing a lot of good things. That's one of the things that we'd love to do on that end of things. And a couple other things in the works planned.
Yeah.
Right now, so definitely looking forward to that. I know
Napa, Maddie.
I know me and you will probably, hopefully, most likely do something like we did last year. Again,
Towards the end of the year with
towards the end of the year into January. Yeah, we had a really, really good event last year.
We did.
And
We did.
hopefully look to build on top of that. What was that? That was what was it, $2,500 that we raised?
No, I think we raised like
it more?
no, yeah, I think it was over that. I think we raised over $2,000 a piece. I'm pretty sure we closed in on 5, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to get back.
Yeah,
and double check.
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure.
I
Like,
won't forget stuff that happened like 10 minutes ago. So
yeah, let alone over almost a year ago now. So
Thanks for the vote of support. I appreciate it. It's great.
yeah, no, it's no, yeah, but we've been busy. We've been doing things. We've been making moves. But we're back. We're glad to be back. I'm happy to be back in front of the camera, in front of you guys, to talk about anything and everything. We've got a lot on our minds. We've got a lot that we're trying to get lined up, including special guests. We're trying to make a special guest a frequent thing around here, so some of you might be reached out to, so just make sure you're ready when the time comes, because we're kind of a big deal. If you haven't noticed yet, we're kind of a big deal.
See, here's the thing. Like I have like thoughts as these things go on and stuff like that. My brain just is on overload, and I see Faraday here, and I see Nick and Cookie, and I think we should do a round table one night.
Just a full round table.
Have a round table. No, just with there's some discussions sometimes that go on, and I think Nick knows what I'm going to talk about here. Is that we have the open discussion on certain topics, debates, Wawa versus Sheets, right?
Okay.
I mean, we could probably go and have that, and if you don't know what those are, well, then,
that's unfortunate.
Nick?
We could have people on. Basically, we could have like a roundtable bashing session of why R-Dub's not a good person because he hates ranch, and that just doesn't make sense.
100% correct. We can have the whole ranch debate here. We can settle it.
We wouldn't actually let R-Dub talk. We would he'd be muted because his point is invalid because he just doesn't like ranch. So it doesn't matter what he says or what reasoning he gives behind it. It would just be a bashing session of R-Dub because honestly, if you don't like ranch, how do you trust somebody like that? Nah.
I mean,
R-Dub, we love you.
You make exceptions because I love R-Dub. So
yes, we do. We love R-Dub.
But he goes full hardcore to
Dude, that video he sent you, that he sent you on Twitter when he just took the ranch and just threw it in the
away.
It's great. That's perfect.
I mean, he's spot on with his stuff.
There's a lot of good times. A lot of good times. Like I said,
okay, Sam. Just remember, we can come back with like even greater rebuttals on that.
No,
so
100%.
it's okay. R-Dub, keep sending the videos, bro. It's good. It's good. Keep sending them. Love it. Just.
But yeah, no. Like I said, we've been super busy, guys. We've got a lot going on not only on our personal channels but on here. A lot of big moves that we're trying to make. A lot of things coming up. So we're super excited. And we're, like I said, I've said it already 1,000 times. I'll probably say it another 1,000 times before tonight's over, but we're excited to be back. Really am. Super glad to have this opportunity. Super glad to be part of the, Aspire. Obviously this is, we've kind of merged. We had the podcast before me and Verge joined Aspire, but now that we're part of Aspire, we decided to bring it to the group, and couldn't be happier. We're super glad to have the support of Aspire and everybody else that's in the group and outside of the group. We love you guys too. So we're excited. That being said, I think we're just gonna go ahead and move into it. I think we decided on we're gonna dive into all the CDL stuff. First, we're not gonna touch a long time on the CDL stuff, because again, it's been happening for a few weeks now. You guys have probably all been updated. We're just here to kind of give our thoughts and stuff. I guess I'll start it off with you, Verge. What's the thing that kind of caught your eye the most so far with everything that's going on with the roster moves and stuff so far?
Chicago did, getting rid of Envoy, and then the retirement of Formal, or I've heard different things where he was getting dropped, so he decided to retire. But
I think that is the official story.
yeah,
I kind of think my 2 cents. I think he was probably on his way out either way. I think I think you could tell that he didn't have, it wasn't the same for him anymore. He didn't have that same passion as he had,
yeah.
Years ago and stuff like that. So I think he was definitely coming to that point already. And I think being dropped by Chicago probably just kind of solidified that for him. So
The Envoy thing's weird, and I'm sure you'll talk about that a little bit more. Other things that were really like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of look at it just like based off of like what we've talked about off of this, and
Yeah.
we talk about this stuff all the time. Like, I think it's just the performance based. You saw a lot of the performance based people get, tossed aside. Some teams just utterly
Right.
destroying their rosters, and they're going to build back up. Again, I think that's a good thing because it may not be the right fit for certain people's and certain members in certain teams. Like we
Right.
see this in professional sports all across the board.
Yeah.
So to kind of see it taking shape is good. I don't really think there's like a political thing. There's obviously some people that the organizations weren't happy with. They probably got rid of them, etc. But I think the sheer number of it and the amount of free agents that are out there and what's going to come about after that is going to be very interesting to see. But anything shocking minus the Envoy thing, not really off the top of my head. I think that was like the one that was like, wait, what? And then you're hearing that rights are going to be moved down to Dallas and they're going to be Optic, and it's just like, what the heck's going on right now? Like, being a fan of that organization, like what's going on? But yeah, other than that, man, like nothing that is like sitting there surprising, like right off of the
off the
just
rip.
like, the Envoy thing was the heck.
I think everybody. I think
Where did that
everybody.
come from?
Right. I think everybody was kind of
Moment.
shook by that. Envoy kind of, being called the prince and everything, when obviously everybody knows Scump is the king, and them still getting rid of him and everything. It shook a lot of people. It's still weird to me. I think everybody loves Envoy. He's obviously an incredible player. I think everybody has nothing but high hopes for that kid, and the fact that he'll probably go down, like eventually. I think everybody has high hopes that he'll eventually be one of the best players, if not the best player of all time in COD. Like, he's got that potential. We just don't know yet. It would have been great to see him continue with Optic. I don't think last year was his year. In my mind, he was much better at Modern Warfare than he was at Cold War. He started out the year pretty strong, but towards the end of the year, something was up. I don't know if it's the way they changed, his routing and how he kind of played in the game. They kind of stopped unleashing him as much, I felt like, towards the end of the year, and kind of hindered his ability, because Envoy's great when Envoy's doing Envoy, but obviously Optic wasn't performing well, so they changed the script, and then I don't think Envoy was able to perform at the level that he can typically perform at that point. So it's just, it was still a shock. I definitely didn't see it coming. I thought if anybody was going to get dropped, it'd be, probably the two ARs. I thought maybe Dashy and Formal would be gone, but Dashy had a phenomenal year. He finished top 5 in KDs. He had a quiet but really good year. Like, nobody really noticed it. Everybody's so quick to trash Dashy because of the year he had last year and all the reports coming out that he didn't always wake up on time for practice and scrims and stuff like that. So everybody's so quick to kind of bash Dashy, but at the same time, you look at this year compared to last year, he was a much better player this year. So I think everybody kind of had him written off early because that whole team just kind of started out slow this year. But they finished strong. Obviously, we all would have loved to see them go further and compete for that championship again. But even at the beginning of the year, I didn't even have him in my top 5 teams anymore there for a while when we were doing the podcast predictions and stuff. Like, I didn't have Optic in the top 5, and that sucked to say, but they changed whatever they changed. They brought it back. They finished the year strong. It just wasn't their year. It wasn't their Call of Duty. I think a lot of people obviously have their doubts about Optic right now, but whatever Hex is doing and whatever Optic is doing, always trust the process.
Well, with them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like, everything's rumored right now. Obviously, we don't know what the potential is, or what the move is that Hex is making. We know that for some time now, ever since he's bought back Optic, he's been trying to get away from NRG. Obviously, I don't think he can support that CDL spot himself. So, obviously he has to team with somebody big. Whether or not they team with Envy, I don't know. I will trust his decision either way. The man knows what he's doing. If
He's proven it.
Yeah, if it were me and you showed me that roster from head to toe, Scump, Shotzi, Illy, and Dashi, I think the only team that is probably going to cause them big issues is FaZe still, because FaZe is FaZe right now, right? They
Obviously they're not going anywhere. They're
no,
still the same team
they're going to keep that team together as long as they can. They're probably the next big Call of Duty, dynasty. So, but if you're showing me that roster, I can't be upset at that. I mean, adding Shotzi alone just creates massive issues. Now, how well Scump and Shotzi obviously work together as two, subs is something that obviously we haven't seen yet, but I got faith in the process that Optic has. Other than that, obviously a lot of people were shocked by Optic because Optic still remains one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name in the Call of Duty esports world. Obviously they kind of shocked the world with that, but we had a bunch of drops and stuff like that going on. There's reports of Clayster maybe reteaming with Crim in New York, which would be huge. I think they would be a very strong team if that happened, because obviously we saw last year that Crim and Clay really work well together, and Crim just wasn't the same this year. I've maintained this throughout the year. If Shotzi was not on that team, I don't think Empire. I don't know what that does for Empire. This during Cold War, Shotzi really was that team this year, rightfully so. He was the reigning MVP coming into this year. He performed like it all year long. He's again why that's why I wouldn't be upset if Optic ended up getting him. And then you had today, obviously, the one big announcement was Hook getting dropped by 100 Thieves, and then LA Guerrillas immediately came out with their roster for next year. So you've got Slasher, you've got Gunless, you've got a Sim that was also announced today by New York and immediately announced as being on LAG, and then you have obviously Hook being picked up by them as well. It is. I can't remember. I know they tweeted at some point that it was still pending league approval. I think they got approval finally, and they kind of officially announced that is 100% their roster for next year. In my mind, this means that LAG is ready to compete. I think they're tired of kind of being the laughing stock of the CDL, and this is them. I mean, nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants to be that team. But they're one of the worst 3 teams in Cold War, and I think this kind of this roster change for them is kind of saying that they're ready to kind of show that they're not that team anymore. They're ready to compete. They want to be one of the top teams. Whether or not it's going to work, who knows? Obviously, I don't know if they announced their coach or not. I don't think I've seen anything on that, so we'll see. Obviously, the coaching is a big thing, and making that team work well together is also a big thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I like the team. I do. I like everybody on that team. I like Hook. Obviously, had some issues during the season this year, so we didn't get to see a lot of him. So hopefully, he can return and kind of get back to his top form. I've always liked Sim. I liked him when he was on New York. I think he's a great player. And then, you know, Slasher and Gunless kind of bring that AR duo that, you know, we'll see if it works together. They're kind of notorious for not working well together, but we'll see what happens. So, other than that, nobody's really made like any absolute roster like announcements yet. Obviously, we're only in day 2 of being able to announce the rosters for the 2022 season. I lost my train of thought. I talk about having an old brain. Jesus. I literally just like blacked out. But yeah. So
You're
that's
okay?
we're fine. You know,
Okay.
it's been a couple months, guys. I'm sorry if I'm off my game. But yeah, so nobody's really made any big announcements. Obviously, we have speculations, we have rumors, we have all this, but nothing's set in stone yet. Obviously, we've got a long road to go. It's only day 2 of the potential of people being able to, you know, actually sign people and unsign people.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think it was going to be released
Yeah.
because they're not making any freaking money. They didn't win any money. Investors don't
They've
want to see that.
literally-
Again,
yeah.
It's a business. It's not for them to ramp it up. It's big news. If you didn't see that one coming, then
Yeah, the fact that you've literally made $0 in the CDL, the entirety that the CDL's been together, like, you know, like like Verge said it best. It's a business at the end of the day. These investors don't want to see you not actually making any money. Like literally, no money has been made.
Yeah, I mean, what is their financial situation right now? Bobby brings it up. Like, what
Yeah.
is their financial situation? Obviously, they have investors backing out, but I mean, they didn't get any. I mean, yeah. So, what do you do with that? You have to release it because you have to have somebody to come back in to reinvest in it to then pick it back up again. It's just
Right.
not gonna. It's not gonna happen. Like they're toast for a while. Like, you know, it's
Right.
just crazy that you had at least 2 teams this year that did that, and it's like that's not healthy
No, that's
for the
not
league. It's not
right.
But if the league does it right, they'll figure out what to do to prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, and
Like-
to that point, there's been rumors about you know, like Cloud9 potentially buying a spot in the CDL now as well. A lot of people thought EU United might be coming back, but they basically baited everybody for an entire week and then announced a Halo roster instead. So I think it's pretty much confirmed at this point that Cloud, because we know that there's at least one team buying in and one team potentially like going away. Obviously, we all think it's Paris at this point that's fully going away, and then, you know, possibly Cloud9 buying a CDL spot. That's huge, honestly, for the CDL, because Cloud9 is a big organization, especially in the world of Counter-Strike. That's where they've made their money. That's where they've made their name. Obviously, you've got people like Shroud that have come from Cloud9. So you've got a lot of potential for a lot of money to be made with Cloud9 being buying a spot. So hopefully they are the team that does it. Hopefully they come in and they put a really good roster together and they absolutely come in and you know, compete. You hate to see somebody like Paris going out, but again, it's a business at the end of the day, and if your investors aren't getting any money off of this investment, then you're gonna sell. It's just basics. So it's unfortunate, but it's there.
Hey, Tabasco, how are we doing on tangents right now? Are we good?
I don't know if we've technically had
I
one
don't think
yet.
it's technically a tangent. We haven't really gone off the cusp here, have we? Or did we just do it? Dang it. Anyway, one thing too is, like Bobby mentioned, with that their roster, like they didn't manage it marketing wise properly and stuff like that.
Right.
Like that's a huge part of this. So obviously there was missteps there. But I think it was another thing too. He was talking about Formal earlier and Halo. You know, there may be research. The league's really got to be careful right now, and I know we're going to get into a couple other things here in a few minutes on some other things that we'll relate back to it, not specifically with the league, but they got to be very careful with what they do right now because they're in a point of growth that
Right.
if you do things wrong, you can just drop off and be non-existent. The game, I think, is going to be a huge thing. I don't think you're going to have a lot of drive around this game because of what the actual new game is going to be.
I mean, and that yes and no. I think it just kind of. I mean, like.
And they don't have control of that, obviously,
Right.
It's coming out from
right. But just kind of to your point, like Call of Duty fans are always going to be there, right? Like, you know,
Correct.
How many times in the last 2 years have people complained about Warzone?
No. I'm not saying that.
So
it's just not so much the core hardcore people that will always be there to support and stuff like that. I'm talking about growth. Like how are you engaging those younger generations to come up and see this? How are you competing against things like Counter-Strike, leagues and stuff like that? And
we saw
League of Legends, all the LCS, like
because we've seen the downfall. To your point, we've seen the downfall of what happens when you make the wrong moves with the Overwatch League. Overwatch League's torched. Like,
again, don't know much about all these other leagues.
I don't either. I just know, right? Yeah,
but these, if something's done wrong, but so the CDL can follow suit. It can just go and go
it could
right
very
down,
well, yeah.
down the tubes. Even with that contingency of backing, like think about it. These tournaments and stuff like that. How much have they really grown? In
I think
5 years,
right? And I think,
is it a minimal? Like, what do you see? Obviously, COVID happened and everything was shut
right.
down
That was the point I was going to make. COVID kind of threw a wrench into it, right? Like, you didn't expect it. Here you are, literally during your first year as the CDL, moving away from the CWL, and you get this huge wrench thrown into the mix. And it kind of it throws you off path because you're no longer able to have fans at events. Fans at events are what drove Call of Duty. It really is. It's a different world. You have all these sponsorships, all these booths. That's another thing. Obviously, they've lost a lot of sponsorships this year after the whole Activision Blizzard lawsuit.
That's mentioned that,
right?
And again, let's go into our next topic. So
So I mean, you've got all these things that are kind of lined up in front of you, and it's, at this point, you're in year 3 now. Fans are allowed back. You're coming off of potentially one of the worst years in viewership you've ever had, because you couldn't have fans at events. Like you've only been averaging like 80,000. Like, I think you've only been averaging like anywhere between 40 and 60,000 viewers on YouTube. It's just you've got all these things lined up. So at some point, when do you say like, hey, we've got to make different moves. We've got to obviously they've got to get sponsorships refilled. Because they lost, Astro, the Army, which, I mean, the Army literally will sponsor anything. Like, I'm pretty sure if I ask the Army right now to sponsor, me, they might do it. But it's one of those things that you've got all these things working against you for the last couple years.
They wouldn't sponsor a subpar game right now.
I'm telling you, they might. No, but you've got all these things that have been working against you the last couple of years. So how do you come out on top now? Like, how do you come out this year, not only with a game that everybody's already bashing because of a fucking alpha, but like a game that nobody was really nobody's really like talking about the game yet because it's going back to World War II. Obviously, the last World War II game that Call of Duty put out was trash. Everybody freaking hated it. The pros hated it. The community hated it. So it's, you're going back to an era that doesn't have the best track record within the Call of Duty community. So how do you recover from all these negatives? COVID, the loss of sponsorships, the game, everything. And I think they've made some right moves. I know me and Baskey kind of talked about this offline with, the destructible environments may like that kind of adds a big strategic point to obviously the pros, like being able to open up basically different windows to get different lines of sight, you know, all this stuff. And yes, like Basky just said in chat, you've got you've got the multiplayer reveal tomorrow. Obviously,
Yes.
we're gonna see it. We're not playing it yet. I know a lot of content creators are gonna be able to, so that's gonna be great to be able to watch. You know, everybody get that opportunity to kind of get their hands on it at 1st and see what the game's going to feel like. Obviously, you know, my advice to everybody is that, again, it's a freaking beta. So, you know, chill, you know, give your constructive criticism. You know, Taylor rated us. Taylor had an awesome video explaining, you know, the right way to give constructive feedback to these developers. On, you know, on betas and alphas, you know, don't be a dick about it, basically was her message, which was awesome. You know, give constructive criticism, actually pay attention to the things that are wrong with the game, what you'd like changed about the game. Because here's the thing, it may seem like developers are not listening to the community at the end of the day, but they do. They really do. These guys listen to us, but you have to actually say it and tell them instead of just going on Twitter and bashing the developers for making a bad game.
It's amazing. Like, and I think we can
Segue. I think this will be a good segue into our next topic, and I'm gonna let you kind of lead that one. So,
well, it just goes again. You know, we see this all the time, and it's just getting worse and worse. But you hit it kind of like right on the head going
Right.
into this thing. Like, and Taylor mentioned it too in her video. To be constructive, we have to respect each other and understand, you know, how we go about communicating and showing that respect and understanding, like, you know, be respectful that they're working on this. So we wanted to kind of like talk about like the whole thing in the world right now with like when it comes to like respect and understanding, like how to be respectful of one another and be productive in that manner. Like this, game developers busting their butt, man. They're working in out of office settings, this, that, the other thing. It's easy for me to get on here and keyboard warrior to them to death, and because I do freaking show a little respect towards what they're doing, and like you said, talk, you know, I'd be like, hey, I think we should do this. Being in the Destiny community, we've seen a lot of it, both sides of things too, but there is more a balance than I see with like Call of Duty. Like, you have the negative shitheads and stuff like that that'll sit there and freaking yip it up and do whatever they want to because they're one, like, you know, like they don't think before they speak, and that's just unfortunate. But hopefully one day they can, you know, maybe listen to the Mashup podcast and be like, oh wow, I can see things in a different perspective.
I mean, probably not, but you know, it'd be
so
nice.
Probably not. It's worth an attempt though. But in that community, you have positive and negative feedback. When you see the positive feedback and people working with each other, you see changes. There have been changes. Is it the greatest? No. Is it going to appease everybody? No. But come on. Like, they're not making Sam's personal video game here. They're making it to...
Should.
Well, I mean, they should, right? But they're putting it out to a worldwide population, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's not a world of one, it's a world of billions. So not everybody's going to be happy and not everybody's going to be, you know, satisfied with it. But if you're not happy with something, then talk about it. Show respect to the other person and understand that. A lot of the junk that's going on in this, like all these things that we've seen, is just lack of disrespect and respecting one another. It's pretty much what it's summed up to be in that sense, like, honestly, like, so.
Oh yeah, it's a huge thing, I think, in the world today, is, you know, is people, we're hitting that point where most of these, you know, especially kids in the world, have been raised in the era of, you know, online entertainment and being in front of a computer screen for most of their life, and being able to basically just say whatever they want to say. I think, and I'm going to give a shout out to Bobby here, but Bobby said it. Me and Bobby have had a conversation about this, and he mentioned that he hates in the Call of Duty community that the best comeback, or the average comeback that people use nowadays, is that you wouldn't survive a Modern Warfare 2 lobby. And that's asinine. Just because it was said in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, a fucking online video game chat lobby, doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't make it any less sexist. It doesn't make it any less racist. It
No.
doesn't make it any less anything.
No.
Like it's literally the most insane thing for anybody to say. That's like, I don't even know. I don't even know how to like compare it to anything, because it's just dumb, right? Like it's comparatively to the real world, it's dumb. You're saying that because it was said in an online video game that I wouldn't be able to like that makes
can't
it
survive.
makes it okay all of a sudden? Like no, if
Sweet.
you're in a Modern Warfare lobby being a sexist pig, guess what? In the real world, you're still, in the eyes of the real world, you're still a sexist pig. If you're being a racist
So
in a
could
video
I
game
use-
lobby, you're still being racist. Like
Could I use that with my boss in the meeting next time?
Yes.
When I have,
Yeah,
have
next
a meeting?
time-
Do you think that'll go well?
next time
Guys,
you
what do
have an
think? Do you
opinion,
Do you think that would go well if I sat there and me and my boss didn't see eye to eye on something, and I
next
sit there and be like,
time-
listen, you know what? You wouldn't survive in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
yeah, next time you're in, you know, an HR meeting or something, just look the HR manager person in the eyes and say, you would not survive in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, and then drop the mic and walk out. Mainly walk out because you're fired, obviously, but you know, it's
Somebody's
just
gonna HR for something tomorrow, so
There you go.
know,
Yeah,
it could be.
it could be
perfect time to use it. Look, we're
perfect
talking about
timing.
it. Thanks. I'm gonna take notes. on
Perfect
this,
timing.
guys. Noted.
So
Excellent.
I mean, it's just, you know, it's the lack of respect that a lot of these people have. Again, it comes from the generation that we've grown up in. Obviously, like I said, everybody's kind of getting used to technology. You know, these kids are raised on technology now. And like you said, you know, it's the keyboard warrior factor. You know, these.
Mhm.
Everybody's kind of getting raised on this fact that, you know, I can sit behind a keyboard and kind of say whatever I want to say and there's no ramifications for it, but you don't see the ramifications. You know, like I can't tell you how many times I've seen, you know, developers interviewed, or, you know, even the voice actors for video games be interviewed, and how much shit they have gone through because they didn't make the perfect fucking game for one person. I've seen voice actors talk about how they've gotten like death threats because the character didn't look girly enough or sexy enough. You butched her up too much. You know, developers talking about how they've gotten death threats and, you know, terrible DMs because the game was trash. It's not the way I would have made the game. So I'm gonna fucking threaten your life. You know, it's just so it's just shit like that, right? And it's just it's where it's to a point to where it's like what like.
But it's the thing. Why does this happen?
Right.
Why
is
does
this-
why are we at this point
Right.
where we can't sit there and say, you know what, I don't agree with you, but I respect you,
Right.
and I'm okay to be allowed to not agree with you. It's perfectly fine.
Right.
Like, it's a-okay. But
What
but
happened?
again-
What happened to
but
the?
again, Nick, why are shitty people just shitty? Like, what makes shitty people shitty? Like, it's just
I don't know.
it's just the it's just so frustrating to just like, yeah, they're not good, but why is that? Is it just because they are? Do they have any shot at redemption? Do we just look like, what is it like?
Well, I
it's
think that kind of goes into it too, right? Like you mentioned redemption. Like look at all these, like the cancel culture, right? Like that thing that, I mean, it was. I feel like it's kind of died down a little bit, the cancel culture, but I mean, look how many times we tried to cancel people, like big name actors or, you know, just big social icons and stuff like that. Like how many times we dug up the past with them. And even though they might not still be like that, how many times, you know, cancel culture came out and wanted to cancel this person? You know, like, are they not allowed to realize their mistake and change? Like, are we just writing them off because that's what we see fit? Like, do we not care that this person, you know, there's a fine line, right? Like there's there's a difference between, I mean, it's just because it's the thing that comes to mind, but like it's the fine line between, you know, somebody like freaking Hitler and somebody saying one wrong thing one time, right? Like,
Mhm.
yes, they hurt people. Yeah, they definitely should not have said what they said or done what they did, but are they not allowed a shot at redemption? Like,
And did they redeem themselves? Did they
right.
change?
Yeah. If they didn't
if-
change, then that's a different story. If you
Well,
gave them
correct.
multiple times to change and they didn't change, that's different. It's fully different.
We've just seen so much. I mean, we can go into you have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at what we've seen lately. You know, with like especially with the Activision thing and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, I mean,
You've got the Activision thing, you've got the Twitch thing that everybody protested.
the Twitch thing. You know, like.
Boss, this is about you. I know you followed, so thank you.
Sorry. Is this when it begins? Is this when we get the stuff? Is this?
This
Look,
guy,
look,
this
perfect
guy,
timing.
this
guy
person,
comes in.
this guy's
guy-
perfect timing.
This guy, perfect timing. God,
Perfect
it's like we
timing.
planned it.
It's like- yeah,
we
it is.
planned it this way. Hey, I do this during my streams. So, hey, Toby and Max, welcome. Glad you are having a great day. Do I want to become famous? No, brother. Do you see this? Not gonna happen.
Not gonna
bro.
happen.
Not gonna happen, bro. But you know what's gonna
Oh,
happen is Tabasco is gonna get you with that freaking axe, brother. Enjoy your
Sorry.
day.
Enjoy your day, bot. Anyways, but yeah, no, it's
Dude, that couldn't have gone any better.
it really couldn't. That was like perfect time. That would have been like almost as good as if the Haas follow popped up as we were talking about it. But yeah,
So,
no, it's just
why and I don't I have a problem more so with the people that think this junk is cool.
right.
Like, you know, that sit there and be like, oh, why are you so uptight about it? It's just somebody just doing like again, you go back to the thing. It's easy to say something here on a screen to sit here and do
Yeah.
that. If you don't see the human ramification of it, you don't see the consequences of your actions. And there's always those said consequences. You don't see it. It's not tangible. And when we don't have that right there in front of us, there's no repercussion back
Right.
to show us that we're wrong. What do we
Right.
keep thinking? This is right to do. This is right
It's
to do. This
fine.
is
Like
right to
there's
do.
no there like I'm not it's the basic, you know, monkey I guess maybe this is a bad analogy, but monkey see monkey do, you know, but like it's like monkey, you know, you don't see it. So it's still okay.
You know, you
It's
can get away with it. You know,
right.
you can
Like
get
I
away
can
with
I
it
can
because-
sit here and absolutely destroy somebody's psyche and their life and everything and just sit here and bash you for hours, make you feel like absolute garbage about yourself. But guess what? All I got to do is sign off, and I'm not sitting in front of you, so I don't care at that point, right? Like you forget what at that point what you've said or what you've done, like, and you know, somebody like that might go off and laugh about it with their friends, like, haha, like, hey, I did this earlier. But like you don't see what that person actually is going through on the other end of that freaking computer screen. And that again,
goes- and then we can relate this to some of the other things like this Twitch thing that's going on. There's somebody or something got something in their midst, and they were pissed about something, and they start going after people. They felt this was the thing to do. I don't know why, but more and more people see it. And they're
Right.
like, it empowers them to do something like this, you know, like it empowers them to do something. Like Twitch sent out this big email to everybody, all the creators who are affiliates or partners, and said, you know, these are the tools we're working on. We really can't say too much. Again, I will give them that because you can't really put it out there because guess what? They're going to be 2 steps ahead of you, and you're going to keep just being behind.
Right.
The biggest thing that everybody has a complaint about is that they are not communicating enough. That email came out after a huge 1-day boycott of that. A day after they have lost so much freaking talent, like that they're starting to bleed and they're starting to see that they bleed, and they're like, oh, well, maybe now we push an email out to everybody. Well, good way to do business? Most likely not. I'm not a business guru, but I've been on business sides of things and administrative side of things before. You need to stay ahead of things and be listening and being, again, listening to what people are saying, respect their word, because you can take it in, but don't you don't necessarily have to act on everything, because you do that, then that's just wrong too, right?
Right.
Like you just act
Yeah.
on everything, you're empowering people to become just complacent in that fashion. But like, you listen, take it in, like with the Activision thing, how many people probably went to them and said something that this is not right, this is wrong, what we need to make change, we need to make change, we need to make change, never made change. Guess what, these guys sitting here doing these things that they were doing were like, bro, we got this, we can do whatever the
Yeah,
heck
we're
we want
fine.
to. We're freaking superhuman.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing with all of us as people right now. We think we're super, every single one of us are supermen. Nah.
Nah, we're not untouchable. Like it takes one time, and like this is how I was raised. It takes one time for you to say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and your life could be over like that. It's easy. It's easy when you have respect for the person on the other side of the screen from you, or on the other side of the table from you, the guy sitting next to you at, the cafeteria at school or something, like it's that easy. It's about respect.
And people are different, man. Like all of us are different.
Yeah.
It's a uniqueness, which is actually, if when you take a look at it, it's really freaking awesome, because we all have our. But again, it's the culture we're raised in, is that if they're not like you, they are
They're different,
outcasted,
and that's bad
in a sense.
Yeah.
And that's very bad. Like, I mean, me and Sam, I've gotten to know him over the past several years, okay? I don't agree with everything this man says. That's okay. Like, it's fine, but we can still sit here. We can still sit here and like see, like we can have fun and do these things and talk about it, because you know what? I respect him. I respect all of you guys for what you guys have to, bring to the table and offer all your unique things. Like, but if it's not there, like, there was obviously no respect in the Activision case, because everybody was just freaking sitting there disrespecting, anybody that did not have the power that they had. If you did not have my power and I to do my things, or did not associate yourself with it, you were going to be targeted and outcasted,
Right. Yep.
and you were going to be a victim. And there doesn't need to be that. Like, that doesn't need to be there. One, that junk doesn't even belong in the workplace to begin with. And
I mean, it doesn't belong. Yeah, it doesn't belong anywhere.
But like, it's having the kind of courtesy for your fellow man and woman, to treat them to the highest level of respect, even if you don't agree with them. Like, talk it out. It'd be things. It's just sad. It's sickening to see, like, what we have seen, come about and stuff like that. It's just really, like, sad that we can't make improvements to it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At all. Even with the COVID stuff, like, you have people that look at one side versus the other and stuff like that. They don't believe they should do this and that. Like, listen, you don't want to get a vaccine, you don't get a vaccine. But again, that's your choice.
Right. Respect the people that
respect the rules and the laws, and just know that they're trying to protect something. Because this really frustrates me to a degree, because it's everybody thinks they know everything that's going on, but actually you don't. Like,
well, and that's and that's part of it, right? Like everybody COVID happened and everybody became a scientist. All of a sudden, everybody.
But then nobody's respecting the actual people. That
Right.
Are the ones that
Right.
Are
Yeah.
That have the, listen,
yeah.
I don't have the brain capacity. I work with my day job. The company that I'm contracted into is a pharmaceutical company. There are tons of freaking smart people there. I will never compare to them. But again, I trust them. I respect them for what they do know and that they're doing. Just as much as they turn to me for when I have to work with them as far as their physical health. So that's it's easy as that. Like, scientists say you do this,
Simple.
okay, you can question it, of course.
Yeah.
But you kind of respect decisions that are made, like, and if you're not, talk about it, but don't just sit there and just be like, oh, we're going to cancel the hell out of you and we're going to freaking destroy you mentally and physically. And to the point, like, where if you don't listen to what I say or what I do or succumb to it, it's going to put you to the point where you're going to be so down that you want to take your own goddamn life.
Yeah.
It gets to that point, man. Golly, like what the heck is going on, everybody? Like that's the question we have to ask ourselves. Everybody here is asking yourself, why?
Why are you the way that you are?
I mean, I just suck at video games. I mean, I just know that we've taught.
Subpar gamer is fine.
I mean, but I accept it. I understand it. Everybody's respectful of it. Everybody, you know.
Everybody respects the hell out of you for you, Verge.
Absolutely, and that's awesome. But I don't know. What's your viewpoint on some of this stuff that's been going on and stuff like that?
Sorry, my dog's dreaming and very loudly. I mean, no, I agree. It's just there's got to be a certain point where we have to look within ourselves and ask us what we can do to change stuff. And I think a lot of people do that, and I think a lot of people that obviously me and do that. You know, obviously we choose the people that we're around and associate ourselves with and stuff like that. So, you know, if you're not learning, and me and Verge actually were talking about this, you know, before we started everything up. If the people around you and that you surround yourself with aren't helping you grow and question yourself on a daily basis, then I mean, to me that's not a real friendship. It's not a real relationship, right? Like it's not. I have people around me that constantly challenge me to be better and to question the things that I may not have a lot of knowledge on, or that I could, you know, that I could be better at. I know for a long time, you know, I grew up in Texas. We all know what happens in Texas. We've all seen the news. For a long time, I didn't realize, but a lot of my views on stuff weren't, you know, the best. You know, they were borderline sexist and borderline racist, but I've changed myself because I've surrounded myself with the right people. I've never said anything like I've never said any of the obviously like the big words or anything that would be associated with racism. I've never judged somebody based on the color of their skin or their sex or anything like that, but it was the things I said because of the community and the way I was raised. But that's all changed. Like I have severed friendships because those people are, you know, there's friendships I've severed that I knew, like I grew up with these guys since elementary school. Like I've known them for 20 plus years. I don't talk to them anymore because they weren't willing to change with the way that times are changing. No matter how much you talk to them, you know, like I've seen countless amount of people talk about how they don't even really talk with their parents anymore because of this type of stuff and because of the age and generation that they grew up on, and they don't see anything wrong with the way they talk to people or say things. So it's one of these things that, again, if you're not being pushed to be a better person on a daily basis, then what are you actually, you know, and I'm not saying that you have to be that way with everybody, obviously. Like you have friends that probably aren't going to do that for you, but for a majority of the people that you know, like everybody that I know raises my ability to be a better person on a daily basis. Like I've learned from people. I have nothing but respect for the people that I surround myself. I'm constantly meeting like new friends, making new friends, meeting new people. My girlfriend on a daily basis, she, you know, she deals with me, but you know, B, she, you know, she pushes me to be a better person. And I do this, you know, I would hope that I would do the, you know, that I'm doing the same thing for her. So it's just we all need to continue to, you know, grow together, learn from each other, change the things in the world that obviously have needed to be changed for a long time, but nobody ever brought awareness to it. But now that there's all this, you've got the world in front of you on the internet, you've got all this information, you've got everything in front of you you need to make better decisions and become better people. So just, you know,
and that's
just, you know, just, yeah.
But see, Nick, your friends push you to be better, right?
Right.
Like I have it. Like, what do I try to do with you?
I don't think we can talk about that on podcast.
Oh, that is true. That's, God dang. I keep
think-
thinking this is our dress rehearsal still, and we're not live, but
Yeah,
we are
no.
live. Okay. Sorry, guys. You had to hear
No,
that.
no, no. On a
but-
serious note,
but-
no. Verge and me, we push each other on a daily basis. Like that's our relationship. That's our friendship. That's why, obviously, we do this podcast together. That's why we game together a lot. Like we, Verge mentioned to me earlier, and I reciprocated the fact that we've both kind of opened ourselves up a lot more because of our friendship, and we've we've grown. We really have. And you think that there's no age or time that it's a bad time to change your views on life or continue to grow. I if I make it to my 99th birthday, I hope that I'm still learning stuff on a daily basis and still growing as a human being. Like, that's just life, man. Like, you may have all the wisdom and knowledge in the world, but that doesn't mean that it's the right wisdom or knowledge. So it's just
Correct.
you got to continue to grow. Yeah.
Experiences every day, like everyday experiences are going to change you somehow, some way. You just have to be there to open to take it. That's all.
Yeah. That being said, respect yourself first and
Yes.
foremost, and respect the other person or the other people that are in your life. It's about respect at the end of the day.
Hold on a sec. I got to do something real quick.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Literally in chat right now. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, it's about respect. That's what we wanted to talk about today. That was the main subject. Obviously, we talked about the CDL world, which was a good segue into the respect. So again, respect yourself first and foremost, and respect the other people that are in your lives. And even if you don't know that person, it's again, takes one wrong thing being said to the wrong person. And like my dad my grandfather used to tell me, you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, there's a good chance you might not make it till tomorrow. So that being said, sent out a tweet earlier. Obviously, I think we're over an hour now, so we're kind of coming up on that period of time where we're gonna cut things. We're gonna start ending things.
I'm looking forward to this. This
Yes,
is one of the
this
cooler
is-
things that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, we decided that we wanted to start getting questions from you guys so that we can answer them at the end of the podcast. So we're gonna have every end of the podcast from now on kind of a Q&A session. That way we can answer some questions or maybe bring up some topics that you guys might want to hear about. So let's get it started. Verge, you got it pulled up in front
I
of you?
have the questions here, but I do have to say I do miss I will miss our Sam's hot picks.
Next year.
on the CDL.
Next year,
Yes. Looking forward to it.
We got next
So
year.
the first question comes from the lovely Miss Cassie herself. She asked, "What are your thoughts and prediction for the roster mania going on with the CDL right now?"
I honestly, like, I could say one thing and I'd be completely wrong. I do think, that's me. I do think that there is potential that Optic does end up with Envy. I think that's a move that Hex was already trying to do before Optic was originally sold. That people have talked about, people have heard, that was the original plan for Hex. I think that's the biggest move that I'm interested in right now, seeing what Hex is doing with the Optic brand, seeing what he wants to do. Other than that, I have no idea. Obviously, FaZe is staying the same. I do think that, the only reason that Dallas would drop somebody like Krim is because of a big roster move, like, Optic and Dallas joining forces. So I don't know. I really don't know. Like, you could literally think that you have the facts laid out in front of you with CDL Roster Mania. That's what we love about Roster Mania. You could think, you could be looking at a text from somebody within the organization saying one thing, and then the news will come out and it'll be completely different. Like, it is.
Smoke and mirrors.
It's the same with any sport though, right? Like we've seen it time and time and again. You never know what's gonna freaking happen. Like if you would have told me when I was a big supporter of the Texans organization, which I no longer am, that DeAndre Hopkins, the best receiver in the NFL at the time, and still is in my opinion, would have been traded away from the Houston Texans organization to a different organization, I would have slapped you in the face and called you stupid. Same goes with JJ Watt. Like if you would have told me that JJ Watt wasn't going to end his career in Houston, I would have slapped you in the face. Same thing with Tom Brady. If you would have told me that Tom Brady was not going to retire a New England Patriot after everything that him and Bill Belichick have done for that organization, I would have slapped you in the face, called you stupid. But look, this is where we're at now, and it's the same thing goes. Like with Optic, if you would have told me that Optic would have dropped in Envoy, I would have laughed at your face a year ago, at least.
Or even like this year, like I mean, maybe up until like 3 months ago, you would be like, huh? What?
Yeah, like
but
what do you?
I mean, I've never. I'm telling you, that was my big like, what the frick just happened?
Yeah, like it's I know a lot of our friends and a lot of our group is huge supporters of Optic, so everybody loves Envoy. You know, that kid has so much potential and so much going for him right now. I could have never seen it. You know, again, you know, these guys know what they're doing. I have nothing but faith in the Optic boys. You know, every other team out there, I have no idea. Again, like I love the content that comes along with Roster Mania because it's absolutely just an insane time of year. But you know, my thoughts are that you know, I don't know. If you're asking me who I'm predicting that's going to win it all next year, honestly, it depends on the play style of the game. But right now, I think if it continues to be a 4v4 format, I just don't see anybody being able to break FaZe at this point. But again, it all depends on gameplay. If they bring snipers back, completely different game. Completely different game. So I don't know.
A lot on the table as far as like what it is. You can build right now they're building rosters off of what we have seen,
right?
And we don't. There's a lot of what ifs with it. So
I mean, look at the LA Thieves last year. How many times did they change fucking rosters? Like 10 times last season. Like you just.
This is like my fantasy football team. Like
yeah,
you know, you draft a fantasy football team and then probably
you have no idea. Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Just what's going on performance wise. It's good. I think it's very healthy that the league is acting like it's not just we're sticking with these guys. We have to like it's getting very. There's a lot of moving pieces with it, which is good. It's healthy for change. That's a good thing. It's gonna be up in the air with that.
I would say my big predictions right now is Optic will end up being part of Envy, and I think Cloud9. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Cloud9 is the team that buys a roster spot this year. Yeah, that's the biggest things I got as opposed to these other guys. I was thinking that Hook was gonna stay with LA Thieves, honestly, but he's on the Gorillas now, so I
think so. I think something we'll eventually hear what happened with that one day. I think there was some stuff on the inside that we haven't seen or heard yet.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Anyways, next question.
Next question comes from the captain, not the general. Not you, Karina. Not yet. We're gonna get to yours in a second. General Cousin Aaron himself. He asked, "What are your thoughts about China limiting the amount of gaming per week and weekend for kids?"
I think it's stupid. In all honesty, like be a better parent, I guess. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, that's. In my mind, that's what it boils down to. I don't think that's something that needs to be done. Like, it's something that you take care of as a parent first and foremost. Like, I don't think there needs to be a law for that. Like, it's insane to me. Like, but again, different country, right? Like, different values, different everything over there. Right. I mean, it is what it is. They also have a much denser population than, you know, most major cities in America. So it's a lot to keep track of, but they also do a lot of insane stuff over there. So
they do it, and there's a lot of restrictions just in everyday life. It's just based off of their.
I mean, they restrict like the sites and stuff that you can go to. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a federal crime to look at porn in China or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy over there. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's something that America should ever like do. Do I think America's thinking about it? I honestly probably, since we still have people that blame video games for violence.
For everything. For everything.
You know, and stuff like that. So it's a little crazy. I don't agree with it. I think it's dumb. Again, it in my mind it comes down to parenting. You know, my best example is my sister and my brother-in-law. Those kids never watched TV. They didn't have phones until like now, which one's in high school, one's about to be in high school. Like the only times they got to play video games was just like when I was a kid. Like you had to do your chores and do everything like perfectly in order. Your grades had to be good, like everything. So again, in my mind, it comes down to parenting. Like if you can't control your kids, then you've got to reevaluate the way you're doing shit. It's just
I agree with you. I think, you know, having a law that the land sister, again, looking at the culture, it's a different thing over there. It comes back to that. It comes being responsible for what is going on in your own house. Like I was the same exact way, exactly what you said. There were stipulations that had to be met, criteria that had to be met, that then I could have that reward of playing games. Now, it wasn't online or anything like that. Jesus, we're talking like Nintendo. Back in the day,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, like, but again, I could go downstairs. And then the best thing was that if I got there, my dad pushed me even more because guess what? He wanted to go play video games with me.
Yeah.
So he would like push me a little bit more to be like, get that, you know, get your stuff done, go do what you have to do. We'll get you to practice and stuff like that for sports and But I want to have that time to enjoy, you know, on that level as well. But again, I'm glad that didn't happen because like when I was in school, hell, I'd come home and still have these things afforded to me, but I'd be gone out the door doing something else. Like, I'd be gone. My parents be like, hey, listen, dinner's at this time, better be back. Or,
and I think and yes, it's a different time. Like you're
true. Nowadays you can't like golly with the way people are in this world, you can't really sit there and do that. Like, you know.
And it's also like, you know, it's different in the aspect that like kids nowadays, like your nephew, want to grow up to be professional video game players. Like that's what they want to do. So I mean, like I'm all for it, bro. If I like, I think I would have gotten my ass handed to me if I would have told my dad I wanted to play video games professionally for a living, like, you know, back in the day, like, which isn't that long ago, you know, like it's a different time. Like you can actually make, yes, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the energy. It's kind of like being an athlete, you know, like you don't know you're going to make it. So stay in school while you're doing it to have that backup plan, because you never know what's going to happen. You may have some terrible injury. Like what if you get in a car accident and you're freaking, you know, obviously this is all speculative, but you know, your hand doesn't function the way, like look at Zuma had to retire from being a professional Call of Duty player because he had a thumb injury. Like he had to have surgery on his hand and he couldn't play anymore. He felt that discomfort. He wasn't the same player anymore, so he retired. You know, it all goes down to, you know, so it's a different era. We're in a different generation nowadays that kids can make a living off of this stuff and people can grow up. Obviously, we see it with the Nick Mercs and the Tim the Tatman, Shroud, and Dr. Disrespect and all these Ninja, you know, the guy that pretty much started it all. Like, I mean, he didn't start it all, but he was the first kind of breakthrough guy to really set the trend of streaming and stuff. But you also have the professional Call of Duty athletes like Scump and everybody like those guys. Like they've all made massive living. Like Krem, the most, you know, earning player in Call of Duty history at this point, has, you know, earned millions of dollars from playing a freaking video game. So it's a different era.
It's obtainable, but
it's
you
obtainable.
You have to make sure that you also build that feeling. If we get away from that, the topic we were talking about earlier about the whole respect thing, those things are taught and learned as you grow up, right? Yep. So if we just don't keep an eye on that, then we're gonna have bigger problems as younger generations get older and stuff like that. It's just gonna spiral downward out of control with that. But yeah, I mean, again, I think it goes back to you taking care of, you know, your kids and who you have over that, and even, you know, for adults to be responsible to take care of themselves for what they need to be doing. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Next question.
We're gonna go to the one and only Karina. She has a very good question. What do you think about, well, all the questions are good. This one's really good. What do you think about women in the Call of Duty Warzone community? Do you think any progress has been made over time with being bashed, hated, harassed, etc.? More female players are playing competitively. Are they getting the recognition they deserve?
No.
No.
No. Well, I mean, look, it comes down to there's a lot of factors, obviously. Like, I think there have been some moves made. Do I think it's enough? No. Like, there's not enough recognition in the Call of Duty community for, there's not enough recognition
in esports,
in
and just
esports in
everything
general,
in life in
right?
general,
Yeah.
yes.
There's not enough recognition for female players in general in the esports world. Like, Warzone is kind of that game right now, obviously, that everybody's like into. It's great, like, but no, like, are we making strides? In my opinion, no. Like, have changes been made? Yes, but I don't, like, we're nowhere close to where we need to be. Like, the recognition isn't there. The bashing and sexism still happens on a daily basis. I follow so many female streamers, and the shit that I see in chat on a daily basis is just, it blows my fucking mind. So no, I don't think we are. I don't know. Like, I hope to God that we get there sooner rather than later. I'm doing everything I can to support the females in my life and give them the respect and everything that they deserve. But to your question, no, I don't think the recognition there. I don't think we're anywhere close to getting rid of, I mean, haters are going to come no matter what. Like, I watch Scump on a daily basis, and he has people that talk shit to him as well. It's different for females because different things get said to them that are really fucked up. The worst thing that gets said to somebody like Scump is that he's washed, he's not as good as he used to be, or right now, since he's playing Warzone a lot, that he's hacking, and it's a different thing. I can't really speak to it because I'm a male, so I have absolutely no idea or how you guys feel on a daily basis. Like, I don't go through the same shit you guys go through. I can say that I'm trying my best to do my part. I could do a lot better, and I'm trying to get there to do that thing. But no, I think the Call of Duty community in general is toxic as fuck. Love the game, toxic as fuck community, and I think it goes doubly worse for the females in that community, and it sucks. And I hope to God that we get there sooner rather than later, like I said. So that's just my.
And it doesn't bode well too when you get your parent company that sits there and has a lawsuit dropped against them for guess what?
Right.
So, and again, that gives all the little, dorks out there. And I'm sorry, it bothers me because they can't make the change in their life to be like,
to be a grown up,
of these things, to be, mature. That they see that, they're like, oh hell, I want to be like that guy up there. And people are so impressionable nowadays. People can be like, oh wow, that's something, because they'll hear from somebody else. And it's like, yeah, whatever. It's a lawsuit. It's still like
it'll blow over.
Like, cool. It'll be fine. It'll blow over, and guess what? It'll happen again, which does happen in our society, right? How much have you heard about that recently?
Nothing. No updates. Crickets. No anything. Yeah.
Crickets.
And again, it's not
and stuff like that. You're gonna find out more stuff like that, but where's the outcrying of voices from people who are authoritative in these platforms? Like, that's one of my biggest things, seeing all this stuff that's been going on, is that you have people who have the power to influence and turned a cheek to it. You have tournaments that rivals tournaments and stuff like that, and these like high big end people who put on these tournaments, and what do you see? 90% to 95% of them are male, and they're highlighted, and that is wrong. Like there have been women tournaments that I believe that it's the community working to get their names out there. Wrong. Like, yeah, you can have those things and do that, but where are these big groups that sponsor these things to sit there and say, hey, we're going to highlight this, we're going to highlight this? When they do it, after freaking something happens. When
Yeah.
it's too late. The
It's
same
too
thing
late.
happened with the racism thing. The same thing happened with the women's thing. It's gonna continue to be that way because we're in a reactionary society. That's it. We react. We don't look ahead and plan. So until that changes, however it may be, maybe we can all start today to be like on the lookout for things, and you know, like what we always try to strive to do and try to get better at is to promote everyone around us. No matter your race, your gender, no matter what, we support each other equally to do that.
Right. Yeah. No.
That being said, we're a small voice. Sometimes small voices start to snowball into bigger ones. You never know, but as long as we can take that away and try to do better with that,
Yep.
I know I'm going to try to do the best I can and grow with it. I know you are. Hopefully, all you guys, do, and I know a lot of you guys do. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's freaking nowhere's near.
No.
It's no.
No, it's no.
Simple no right off
Simple,
the like.
yeah.
I read that question, Karina, and I knew me and Sam, like, we didn't even talk about these before or anything like that. Like, we just, I knew what my answer was right away, and I kind of knew, like, that's what Sam's is
Yeah.
as well.
No.
So,
I mean, like they had that all-female tournament, where all the captains and stuff were female and stuff, and like, I mean, great, but like, where's this in the big tournaments? Because that wasn't even like a big tournament. Like the grand prize wasn't that big. Like it wasn't one of the massive Warzone tournaments. So it's like
marketing wasn't there for it and
marketing
stuff
wasn't
like
there.
that.
It got
It's-
little recognition. Like it was just no. We're nowhere. We
it's
are
sick.
nowhere near as a gaming community of being where we need to be with not only recognizing the great females in the esports industry, but man, what's his name? The singer kid. I can't think of his name right now. Jordan Fisher. They put out the stats of like the most viewed people, the most viewed people on Twitch today, and
Yeah.
he brought up the point of how do we get, how do we get not only women but black people in this, African Americans,
Cool.
in this, it goes double for race and gender. Like we're nowhere near where we need to be.
We're not where we need to
100%.
be. No. Last one that we have was by the great Nicoluzi himself. Twitch was sent into a whirlwind recently with a couple of the biggest creators on the platform jumping over to YouTube Gaming, with others rumored to be soon going as well. Why do you think the number of creators are making the jump? Is it just the big YouTube money bag, streaming hours, and then he has a follow up to that one and what sort of steps should Twitch do to take to entice some of the other creators to stay?
Man, that's a lot. That's a lot to unfold. Yeah.
I'll tell you what the first one is. I'll tell you what the first one is that the money situation is 100%.
I think of a
one
lot.
thing.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to think about like where these big name streamers are. Like it all goes back to what Ninja did when he went to Mixer, right? We all saw that contract that he got paid out because Mixer folded and could no longer support anything. The guy signed a 5-year, $10 million contract with Mixer.
Mhm.
Like he's setting up for that future. He's no longer because these guys, Tim the Tap Man, who else went with him? Dr. Lupo. Like, I think the Dr. Lupo situation was a little bit different for me, but like Tim the Tap Man, he's not worried about the now anymore. He's made plenty of money. He's got plenty of money. I mean, the man's driving a freaking Lambo. He's got a kid. Like his family's like set in the now. They're looking for the future. They're looking for how do I not only continue to pay for my life and my luxury style now, but how do I continue that for my kids' future, for my family's future? And the same thing with everybody's kind of thinking that Nick Merckx is gonna do the same thing and move away, and it's like Nick has made so much freaking money from what he's done and the big contract he had already signed with Twitch, and now that that's ended, you know, there was a Reddit thread about this and what he said, and he and I was in the stream when he said this. He said that, you know, after the MFAN barbecue, because he does an MFAN barbecue every year for all of his supporters and stuff, and he said after the barbecue, him and the team are going to Vegas to celebrate a big contract, and he went on to say that it's not the you know, the I'm good kind of contract. It's I'm now able to take care of my friends and family kind of contract. And that's what these guys are worried about now. These big name guys have made so much money and so much impact on the community. They have that right. And Ninja kind of showed what you could do. Ninja and Shroud kind of showed what you could do with that. So yes, in a sense, I think it's about the money, but it's also them actually thinking about their future and their kids' future and their family's future, their friends' future. So yes, it's about money, but not in the sense that I think a lot of people are thinking of it, of like, I'm just trying to get rich. I think at this point in people like that's career is, you know, in their career, it's literally, it's about the next steps. They're already rich by every means of the term. They're already multi-millionaires over and over, you know, hand over hand. And now they're looking to, how do I support the next generations of my family? Or how do I pay back, you know, my parents and my friends that have stuck by me and gone through this all and supported me the whole way? It's exactly what happens in sports, right? What do you see most of these athletes that came from nothing that made it to the NFL or the NBA or the MLB do when they first sign their big contract? They take care of their parents. They take care of their friends. Like, and that's where, since that's not necessarily how it works in esports, that's the point they're at now. Like, how do I take care
to that? They're trying to take it to that level.
Yeah, how do I take care of those people that supported me and helped me get to where I'm at this point in my career? So yes, I think it's because of money, but it's not selfish. I've heard both Tim and Lupo and everybody else talk about it. Now the Lupo thing hits a little bit different for me, because I think the Lupo thing kind of sent a big message, because you literally have the staple of charity in gaming
gone from your
platform. You just, and
I think
that's a huge thing. That's a huge deal,
because he saw what was going on and he's like, I'm not associating
right
with this with my brand.
And
he has the right to do that for what he has built,
and he can use that leverage, and he can now, not only is he good like money wise, but now he's not associated with a platform that hasn't been the best as of recent, hasn't shown the support to the little guys and, you know, the females and the other, you know, ethnicities of our culture. And he's moved away from that to what he thinks is a better platform, and, you know, a better community. Because I mean, you like, there's just a lot, because not only you have somebody like Fwiz, who came from the Call of Duty community, obviously Fwiz being one of the original members of Optic, and, you know, was there with Hex and stuff. So not only does Fwiz understand that as the head of YouTube gaming, but, you know, he knows the quality and the things to look for with the people that he brings over, and he knows how to, you know, he's there to kind of support that, because he's been there. He's been where these guys are at. He was, you know, so having that says a lot, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you want to say that it's all for money, but, you know, Twitch has the same amount of money, you know, if not more than YouTube does. So it's not necessarily just about money, right? Like, these guys are not only signing to better their lives and these big contracts, but they're also signing to be in a different headspace, maybe get away from a lot of the toxicity. Obviously opens you up to so many other viewers. You have so much more growth potential. So I mean, there's a lot of factors I think that go into it, but I mean, yes, at the end of the day, sure, it's for money, but I think there's a bunch of different reasons. As for the other part, like kind of the other part of that question with what can Twitch do, I don't know. At this point, I honestly don't know. Like,
they need to be more transparent and out ahead of the things before being reactionary.
They need,
I think that's the first thing that they need to do.
Well, they need to show that they're actually trying to support the community. I mean, Like I don't maybe I missed a tweet or something in there. I know that they tweeted out saying that they support the community and everything for, the protest that everybody did with the day off Twitch thing. But at the end of the day, all we got was an email basically telling us that all these systems that are in front of you are what you should be using to avoid all these situations. And it's like, well, we are using those, but what about us little guys? What about the guys that are trying to build communities and get to that place that only average, 1 to 5 to 10 to, 20 viewers? Like somebody like me, I can't afford to put it in followers only chat. I can't afford to put it in sub only chat. Like I can't afford that type of stuff because that cancels out so many people from coming in, not only chatting, but, following the channel, because there's so many times that, some of these people that hop into my chat, they're not all the time, but they're there every once in a while. They hop into my chat, and the way it started out was, I got a raid, or they know that I know, such and such, and they came to my channel, but they didn't follow immediately. They chatted with me. They interacted with me.
Spot on.
And so, like, if I'm a guy like me who averages somewhere between 1 to 5 viewers without a raid, and then someone raids me and I have it in followers only chat, why are you gonna follow? Or subscribers only chat, why are you gonna follow? Like, why are you gonna try and be part of my community?
Blocking them off. They're like, I'm not valuable. I'm not. My time.
At that point, you can't chat with that person to get to know them. You don't like. You're coming in from somebody else's stream. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm like.
Nope.
Like, you have absolutely no idea. So it's I mean, it's a basic, getting to know each other conversation starter thing, so it's yeah. So I honestly, I have no idea. I want to say that I have hopes that maybe Twitch is listening, but at the same time, I have no idea. I've thought about potentially moving depending on how things go and, if things change, but honestly, you're gonna get toxicity no matter what platform you go to.
Oh, yeah.
Mixer,
YouTube's no better.
I moved to Mixer for a while, for about a year, because I wasn't getting traction on Twitch when I had first started streaming. So I moved to Mixer, a little bit before, if not after, like Ninja and Shroud moved. And I did really good there for a long time, but obviously Mixer fell apart. But I still got the same random, like every once in a while, toxic people in there.
You're not going to escape it because, again, it's just
it's the internet. It's the internet. And if anything, you're going to run into more of that on YouTube because you've got more concurrent people on that has YouTube open on a daily basis than you do Twitch. People are constantly on YouTube watching things, so
all over the place, and they can hop in on you at any second.
Right, which is another reason why YouTube's such a great platform, because you have that many more people that have eyes on the platform and may happen across your stream. So
Maybe.
Again, there's a lot of factors that go into why these guys are moving.
They got work to do.
Yeah, I mean,
But all of them do. But again, YouTube's in a place now financially,
right,
and stability, to where they can sit there and go, hey, I almost knocked over my coffee, but that's okay. You can sit there and say, hey, come over here. This is a better place. We're working on things. We have things in play, because they may show those guys things that we will never see until it's already out into the public. They may be privy to that because they sign NDAs and stuff like that. They have legal representation to do that. Guess what? We don't, and that's fine. We don't need to know. But again, Twitch needs to communicate, like, hey, as soon as this all started, and like you said, like, you can put a tweet out today, like, everybody's acting like, oh, this is a big thing now. This has been going on for months. Yeah. It's spearheading more because these people are getting more traction with things and attacking more people. Like, Twitch should have seen this, which they can, and sit there and put out something. Hey, we're analyzing this. We're ahead of it. We don't know how to manage it right this second, but we know it's there. We're trying to find solutions for it. You put that out there months ago, whole different narrative of what's going on right now. You're still going to have the feedback from it and stuff like that, but maybe you don't have a day where you have a whole cancellation because they're not doing anything or not saying anything. It's communication. It's easy as that.
And I think, and that's the thing, and that I think is kind of the end all be all thing right there, is that if I'm somebody that's the size of, Nick Merckx, or, obviously the people that actually move, like Tim the Tatman, Dr. Lupo, And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like maybe I've hit my peak on Twitch. Maybe if I go to YouTube, I've got that many newer eyes on me and have that much more potential for growth. I'm making the move. If at any point I think that even me being a smaller, like a very, very small streamer, like if at any point I think that that would be the better move to maybe kind of skyrocket where I'm at right now, as opposed to just doing this for a hobby, if I thought YouTube was the better choice, I mean, yes, no question, I go for it. But I think, again, you're going to run into toxicity no matter where you go. It's just Twitch, yes, has to have a better handle on how they're handling it. Communication, like Verse said, communication, transparency, all these things. You know, give us something that you're potentially working on to better the situation for us. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but ultimately, yes, I think they did it for money, but I don't think for the selfish reasons that a lot of people are saying, that they just wanted to sign, a bigger contract, make a lot more money. Like, that's not, like, people don't think about the fact that these streamers have families and kids and friends and things that they're trying to, show love to, that help them get to where they're at. It's the same thing with athletes. Same thing with actual athletes. I think that's the whole reason for the move. I don't think there's anything big. Like I said, I think Dr. Lupo's a little different. Not the reason that he moved, but I think that kind of has a different impact on his move, because I think at the end of the day, he did want to sign that contract, but he, he made the move that he wanted to do with the amount of charity work and stuff he does. So.
Because he saw what was going on. I think he's seen some things and he hasn't seen the movement, and he's like, no, I can't have this and stuff. And then YouTube just is sitting there going,
yep, right. Same thing. Like, I would not be surprised if Nick Merckx moved. Do I think he's going to? I don't know.
I think
he's the biggest name on Twitch right now.
I think he is. I think he moves. That's going to be a devastating blow. Obviously, it will be, and hopefully, then they really hit the panic button and say we got to stop because that goes from a pretty substantial bleed to a traumatizing bleed.
Well, and a lot of it goes back to the whole Dr. Disrespect. We still do not know why Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch.
Yep.
Dr. Disrespect himself still does not know why he was banned from Twitch.
Yep.
He talks about it in his book of the fact that he has no idea why he was ever banned from Twitch. Everybody has all these speculation. There's a bunch of Reddit like things on it of him breaking the terms of the contract and stuff, and that's why they banned him. But literally, I 100% believe Dr. Disrespect in the fact that he has absolutely no idea why he was ever kicked off Twitch. So and I think it goes back to that. I think a lot of these, I mean, you look at like Tim the Tatman was super close to Dr. Disrespect, and the fact that he couldn't play games with him anymore because nobody on Twitch can even play with Dr. Disrespect.
Yep.
Like, you cannot have his voice on your Twitch stream.
Correct.
So I think that has a lot to do with it too. But anyways, that's enough, guys. Look, this was awesome. I'm glad to be back. I know Verge.
Great first episode back,
Yeah,
let's go. Thank
fantastic.
you guys for being here.
Y'all
so
definitely
much.
made it so much better and so much easier to come back today. All the hype, all the love you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Hey, we had some follows. Thank you for the follow. Maddie, Haas, thank you for the follow. Thank you.
Hey Haas, thanks for the short stay.
Thank you. Taylor, thank you for the raid and the follow. Jay, thank you for the follow. And Aspire Gaming LLC, thank you for the follow. A little late there. God. Anyways, no, appreciate it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Awesome, man.
Right? No, it was a good time. Absolutely loved it, guys. We'll get back into the swing of things. Things will be tighter next time. We went way over our time limit here. I told Verge and Matt before we started that we were going to try and keep it as close to an hour as possible. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. So look, we had a lot to talk about. It's been a while. We missed you guys. We wanted to give you a good show. So here it is. Don't forget that every episode is immediately uploaded to YouTube. So if you feel like you missed anything, go check out the YouTube channel, drop a follow and a like, and you guys can catch the VOD there because we're not an affiliate with Twitch yet. So the VODs only stay up for I think 14 days or some shit. So yeah, we appreciate it. We'll have a lot more content for you guys. Like I said, we're changing a lot. We're gonna have main topics from now on every episode, as opposed to us just kind of talking about whatever we feel like talking about or whatever's happening in the world. We realize we're not a news station, so we're talking about important things. If you guys have any opinions on what you would like to hear as a topic, hit us up. We'll go over them. We'll think about it. And then obviously bringing guests into it too is going to be a big thing. So keep your DMs open because we might be.
Or if you want to be on,
Yeah, or yeah, reach out to us if you've got something you want to talk about and you want to be on this podcast. Let us know. But other than that, love you guys. Thank you so much for making this a great first episode back from our little hiatus that we took. Y'all have a good morning, good afternoon, or good night wherever you're from. We will see you guys next Monday. Peace. Oh God. There we go.